Hey, guys. Good afternoon. And once again, welcome to our Saturday edition of Let Him Run. Once again, here myself, Freddie York, with my partner and friend, Johnny Colliston. What's up, John?
What's going on this nice, brisk, beautiful fall Saturday and some great racing coming up. We got to talk about a lot of stuff, so we got to move pretty quickly through these 5 great races.
Yeah, we definitely will do that, John. Absolutely. Got some good action out there at Del Mar, some good action at Churchill Downs. Also, if you watched our podcast yesterday, our happy hour podcast, which we do every Friday at 3:00, we went over some big races there at Churchill Downs. We talked about a couple of horses. John, why don't you start off briefly and touch base on what happened in race 10 there?
Race 10, we knew Lush Lips would be, really tough to beat at 3-5. We thought there was a chance to try to, beat her on the front end, and we both came up with the 5, I think it was Classic Q. Led every step of the way, relatively slow fraction. So turning for home, I thought we were going to have some kick. We actually did deep in the lane, still battling at the 16th pole. But Lush Lips was just too much with that perfect garden spot, sitting second to, for Classic Q to hold off deep in the stretch. And then once you got past there, the 10 came flying. A horse we did mention that, would, come running at the end. So pretty much laid it out exactly, just bet it wrong and, didn't get lucky with the 5 holding on.
Yeah, hey, listen, Lush Lips, too good of a horse, just class. We talked about how he or she might be pressed at the end because of the distance, and we didn't think it was going to be long enough. We thought it was going to be perfect for Classic Q, almost perfect, but not quite. We did talk about 10, who did very well on turf out of a Munnings at Spakestown, was a young horse, had only run 3 races. That was the 4th race for that horse, and ran a very nice race to get up there for second place and beat out Classic Q. So again, the next race we talked about again, a pretty wide open race. There were some big horses in there. We all talked about, John, you love Chunk of Gold. Everything you said about that horse came to be. Goscar did not run ran an okay race, actually. Chunk of Gold got pressed and tried to hang in there. The number 9 Magnitude from that outside post had a lot of speed, but, sort of doled it out just perfectly to get up and win, John, correct?
Yeah, and, that's why I took my shot with a 13-1 shot, trying to lead him all the way and turn it for home. Magnitude got the perfect stalking trip on the outside. He didn't, really press him. He had some left in the tank to just wear him down at the end, but it was definitely a route. Just again, I didn't bet it the right way. Magnitude was my other horse that, I was going to make on top, but at the price of 2-1 versus 13-1, I thought it'd be a value to take a chance that Chunk of Gold did get better and can lead him all the way. And he almost did. So, I saw the race, pretty darn good. Just, didn't bet it the right way. The 3 horses that the 2 horses that I really liked, ran first and third in the 13-1. And the one we mentioned, we both came up with the 7 horse, Houday, went off 50-1, and he finished 4th to round out a great superfecta. So, getting on him late, really helped. And I wound up, having $1.70 on the super. So that got me a couple bullets back. I saved a little bit, but
that's the horse Houday that Ed mentioned. Ed DeRosa mentioned on his Horse Racing Nation article. His Moorline was 30-1. He went off at 50-1 and key to $2,100 superfecta in 4th place. So
that was beautiful.
That was a nice score there. And again, once again, Ed, whenever I hear Ed DeRosa talking about a 30-1 shot, my ears are just like a horse's ears prick up. Well, my ears will prick up if he starts talking about a 30-1 shot, John.
Yep.
All right. So let's go ahead. We're going to break down 3 races, race 5, 7, and 9 at Del Mar. I'm going to go through the ticket that I put up for that race. I'll put that up there so we can check it out. And I'll talk about my picks on that race. And then I'll put John's up when he talks. Race 5 is the Seabiscuit handicap, a grade 2 purse of $200,000. Running at 1 mile and 16th on the firm turf out there at Del Mar, where the Breeders' Cup was just a couple weeks ago. Interesting at this configuration at this mile and 16th, they come out of that chute. Makes a difference. And you need to have a little bit of experience, I think, to come out of that shoot. And that's why I really like the number 3. Almondara is a great Britain bred, being ridden by Johnny Velasquez, trained by Philip D'Amato. Has won at this distance, has raced a lot at Del Mar. The 3 races back was a little shorter at a mile, but put up a nice 100 buyer speed figure, which fits well in the category of this grade 2 race. And I think that horse has a big chance at a morning line of 5-1. I put together a little ticket, $10 exacta box, 3, 8. Now we got some value in there. The 3, 5-1 Almondara is the 5. Potente probably going to be the favorite, morning line 7-2. And I think that horse ran he's got 6 wins out of 14 lifetime races and 2 seconds and 2/3. And I threw, I was torn between the 8 and the 9, but I was looking for a little bit of value. And that's why I put the 8 in there, Cabo Spiro, Umberto Rispoli, on a pretty good speed horse. Been running in a lot, like many of these horses, running in a lot of grade 1, grade 2 class, grade 3 classy races. I think that horse has a chance with the switch to Umberto Rispoli, who, when he gets with George Papadramo, they hit at a pretty good pace. So I think from this outside post, this horse is going to go, and I think that horse has a chance. So that's how I put my ticket together, John. A $10 box, 3, 8, 9, with some value in there for $60. I think if that scores with that horse coming up top, Cabo Spirit could play some money.
Yeah, I basically saw it the same way. I'm going to lean on the 3 as my top pick. And in the Del Mar contest today, the Del Mar Fall Challenge, like I said yesterday, I'm going to be playing it. I'm going to lean on him as one of my mandatory bets, whether I'm playing a double into him or a double out of that race into the next race. I still got to decide. But I do like the 5, 8, and 9, the obvious choices underneath.
Sure.
Just got to figure out how I'm going to play it. The 9, I was going to try to, fade him totally, coming out of those 1 1/4, 1 3/8 races, running into Gold Phoenix a couple times, who just ran 4th or 5th in the Breeders' Cup. So, the quality is there. I was just thinking it was going to be a little too sharp this 1 1/16, that he'll be, a little further back, than he normally would be. So I was giving the edge to the 3, who's going to be a little bit more forwardly placed coming out of those mile races. Now a more methodical 1 1/16 distance could maybe sit a nice trip. And the 5 coming off a long layoff of, 10 months. And Cabo Spirit should be mixing it up on the front end to assure, a decent pace, which I think sets it up beautifully for the 3. So I'm going to lean on the 3 pretty heavily on the win end. And how I play it with, the 5, 8, and 9 under it, I'm not sure. So we're both on the 3 here. So hopefully that 5-1 sticks and we get about 4-1 and, take it to the bank.
Absolutely. All right, John, why don't you take us into race 7?
Race 7 here. It's always, a crapshoot with these 2-year-old fillies going long on the turf, 2 turns. You don't know what you're going to get, lightly raced. And it's always tough to pass. Chad Brown shipping out to the West Coast, picks up Hector Barrios, who's the leading turf rider, at Del Mar. Goes for the best one there. Might shy people away with that low buyer speed figure, but he did it, so professionally and, just ran by at the mile distance. So he's run this distance before. Shad's shipping out here for a reason. Justify, out of a Galileo mare. The breeding is there. And Chad won this race 3 times in the past. So, he knows how to, send the right horses here. Other than the, 4 on the win end, I'm going to, play around with the 1 a little bit. I'm going to use that 1 in there. The 5's a classy horse, coming out of the Breeders' Cup juvenile. A couple long ones I'm going to throw in there. The 6 horse, Sweet Little Layla. The horse that, beat it last time, Cindy Moonshine, actually just ran 2nd in a stake race. So that quality did hold up there. So, and then yours sincerely, the 8 horse, going to come flying at the end, will be, way back. And number 9, who's going to take some money, Hypergamy for Doug O'Neill. That race that she ran 8th by 5 lengths. The next day she came out of that race and she spiked the fever. She was sick. So out of that race, so she might have been sick during the race. That's why I'm going to totally draw a line through that and offer a last race that made in special weight, makes her really competitive for this field. So not going to, disgrace that, but I'll take a shot with Chad and Hector at 6-1.
Okay. Well, Sean Miller checked in. Sean reposted this stream. Attaboy, Sean
Thank
Miller
you,
right
Sean.
there. he's the brains behind this outfit here at Capital Sports Network YouTube, where we post all these podcasts and write articles for the Florida Sports Talk. So little shout out to Sean, our buddy. Sean, appreciate your help, brother.
He's the brains. We're the good looks.
Now that may get
take my glasses off, then I realize, oh no.
That may get some comments coming here, John. That may definitely get some comments here. Okay, I'm gonna just make my pick in race 7 at Del Mar pretty simple. I'm just going with the 5-horse La Villa Lemire, ridden by, I think, is a very good jockey out there in Del Mar. Kazushi Kimura, and trained by Michael McCarthy. This horse is 8-1. This is something that I love to see. If I see this happen, meaning, again, I love Brisnet. I love the information they've given. They've helped us out. They've helped me out, particularly in making some decisions. I might possibly make this bet even further involved because I like this 5 so much. Like you mentioned, he's been in some classy races. Only has 1 win in his lifetime, but I think he's got an opportunity at this level in this race to finally show what he's made of. I mean, he's out of City of Light, quality road, got some decent turf breeding. The distance doesn't matter. Had a great workout last time out. And again, he's number 1 prime power by a lot. And that means a lot to me in a race like this, where you have some horses that are kind of trying to figure out what kind of horse they are, how good they might be. I mean, you made some excellent points about some other horses. But as I go through, I mean, right now I'm toting a $20 win place bet on this horse if he remains at 8-1 or higher. If I follow this race, when I do follow this race, if at post time when we see how the odds are coming out, if he starts going down and starts taking a lot of money, I may use this horse and play some some doubles or some pick threes, single in this horse, and picking in some other big horses in the next couple races in the pick 3. Which, I again, you mentioned how the pick 3s are pretty cool to play. Are they $3 pick 3s here at Del Mar as well? I think they're
no,
just Churchill.
Just Churchill. The last 3 races are $3 pick 3s. Other than that, it's a 50-cent rolling pick 3 all day long, except the last 3. I believe it's at Del Mar as well, and Churchill. Let me see here. How many races they got today? 11 races. So
11, yeah. No, 12. Yeah. I think Churchill has 12.
Oh, Churchill, yeah. So it is the 10, 11, and 12 is the $3 pick 3.
Rolling, the $3 pick 3. Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, I see that. Okay. All right. Hey, let's go ahead and we'll go to race number 9 at Del Mar. That is another turf race. Again, coming out of the chute at the 1.125 distance with that turf chute, which creates some challenges for some horses. Currently a big field, a field of 9 horses in this race. Again, it's a grade 1, the Hollywood Derby of $300,000. Very good race. I can't help but do anything but look at the favorite to 3 test score. I mean, this horse has got some class. He's the only horse who's won at this distance, and he's won at this distance twice. And he came in second out of the chute here at Del Mar, but he loves the distance. And I think with JJ Hernandez on him, the horse looks like he's training well for the return. Been off just a little while since October 25th. And I just think this horse is going to be very tough to beat. So when Graham Motion and JJ Hernandez get together, they also win at 71% and 7 in a sample of 7, but that's pretty good. And another horse I'm going to look at a little bit is the 8-horse Tempest Volat. The jockey Demoro's on him. I think this horse has a good chance too. I think he's going to love this extra distance. He's been racing it shorter at a mile. He has not yet raced at this in the chute, but I think from the 8 post, I don't think that's a big deal. But that's how I put my ticket together for race 9. An exacta key with the 3 over the 189, a little $15 exacta. If the 3 hits the board and we get a little price, we'll make some money with that, John.
Yeah, that's what I'm all in on the 3. It's late in the card for the contest, so this is going to be my stand. If I have to go all in on a bet, it's going to involve the 3 here, whether I bet a big exacta, big try, or even a big double going into the next race, which you have a big favorite. Bob Baffert sends Matacat Road, who ran in all the stake races at Saratoga this summer. wasn't that level, but now he's in an optional 50 claimer,
Right.
two. So he should be a standout in that field. So it might be all in, all my bankroll, $2,000 double if I have to, with the 3 on top.
So is your double
Depending on
going to
what
be two? Is your double going to be 2-4 or 3-4?
the double's going to be 3. Maddox to 7. So the double will be, I'm sorry, Fred, that's 3. That's probably a typo on my end. It's 3-4 is the,
Okay, let me change
the
it. I got
exact
you. That's what I thought. Yeah.
yeah, it's 3-4 is the exact. That's probably, I typed it in wrong.
No worries. I
But
got it.
yeah, I'm all in on test score. Basically what Fred said. This is the classy horse in the field. He faced all the best. He was right there with them. 2 for 2 at the distance. When Motion ships out here with Hernandez, they win an amazing clip. Motion doesn't ship much out to the West Coast, so when he's here, totally live. And I'm going to give the 4 a big shot. Chad Brown shipping out this horse from the 12 hole last week, came running and finished 5th by 2 lengths. And the horse that beat him, Giacoso, who ran 3rd in that race, came back, and we covered it last week, and he won that nice Churchill Downs stake race over a really solid field. So he's coming out of a live race there. So I would possibly play a big exacta with the 3-4. And other ones I would use in there is possibly the 2, 8, 9, even the 1. So, but I'm gonna really hang my hat on the 3 winning. Just how I bet it. It'll be a big 3-4 exacta or a big 3-7 double. So,
what races is this contest that you are going to be in? What races are they covering?
every race at Del Mar, and you have to make 3 $400 bets minimum, and then you got to bet a total of 2,000 minimum over the course of the day. There's no minimums. You could bet any amount you want. You could bet dollar tries if you want, but you have to make 3 bets totaling 400 on a race or more. So I'm going to find 3 races to bet 400, and then whatever I got left on this 9th race, somehow, depending on the leaderboard, whether it has to be an all-in exacta, all-in double, it could be leaning all on test score.
Okay. Hey, good luck, man. That's awesome. We'll be following that and check it out and keep us posted. That's tremendous, John. I know those contests are very exciting to play. They have some real good opportunities to make some money and get some seats. Does the winner of this get a seat at the Breeders' Cup betting challenge?
Yeah, I think the top 10, there's probably 6 Breeders' Cup seats and probably 5 Vegas NHC seats and a lot of cash prizes.
Oh, wow. That's a great contest.
Yeah, it's a great live money contest, and it's your money. So if I could hit something and, not even cash in the tournament, it's still going to be a winning day because it's your money that they're going to deposit.
Your money is your money. Gotcha.
Your money is your money. It's not like a fake mythical bankroll where, everybody's, putting a fake $2 on long shots when they're, when they're down. Not even horses that they handicap. This is a betting strategy and handicapping strategy,
Gotcha.
Money management all in one.
Okay. So go ahead, John. Why don't you touch base with the next 2 races we're covering? We'll let you start off with race 10 at Churchill.
Yeah, Churchill, this is a tough one, and it's, always a fun one. The 2-year-olds, end of the year trying to, get the Derby points right off the bat before they, put them, to the farm for a month or 2 to freshen them up before the season. And you're either on the, wagon with Further Ado, setting a 98 buyer, wins by 20 lengths, first time around 2 turns, gun runner, paid $550,000. But so many times I've seen these flashes, where they run this crazy buyer number, take so much out of a baby horse that to come back and repeat that, we really don't know what they beat in that field behind them. So that 20 length victory, you got to, hold it with a grain of salt. But the time, will not lie. I mean, the time is the time, ran fast, a 98 buyer, and a -1 on the Thorograph sheets. So a -1 for a 2-year-old is just insane. Yeah. And the next best horse on the Thorograph sheet is the 4, Soldier Diplomat, that ran a 4, and Dr. Kapoor ran a 7. Everybody else is in the, the double digits, but to see a horse run a -1 at this age on a Thorograph, it makes me think they almost have to bounce, almost have to regress, or it could become the, the coach
super horse.
Favorite, super horse with Ted Nafi. So if he wins impressively today, it's him and Ted Nafi show going into next year. But at 3 to 5, 4 to 5 odds, I've seen too many of them, get beat. He could be that good. Everything says that, he might be, but Other than that, all the other 5 or 6 horses, I could find a case for, every single one of them. So my
Sure.
bet is going to be trying to hopefully he bounces off that big effort, and he didn't really beat nothing last race, and he comes back down to earth, and one of the other ones win. As long as you can just beat him on the win end, everything is going to pay. All the probables, the will pays will be exponentially grown because everything is going to be single to further ado. So I don't know who out of this field. I like a bunch of them. Might as well just hit the all button and hope to beat them with any one of them. That's my strategy here. Should be a fun race to watch and see if he is that superstar or one of these other ones can step up.
Yeah, no, you said everything. I feel the same way about Further Ado. If this horse comes out and wins again by 7 or 8 lengths, and the next horses are close to that far back, this horse could be the next superstar horse. Like you said, it could be the Ted Nafi Further Ado show. But I'm kind of leaning towards the 2 a little bit. Cherokee Nation, still a maiden, ridden by Flavian Pratt, trained by Bob Baffert. Coming from the West Coast, races first 2 races at Del Mar and Santa Anita. Has we don't know how long he's been in Churchill Downs. I mean, his last workout was in Santa Anita on November 19th. But I think, again, anytime Bob Baffert's bringing a horse out here to the East Coast to run, I think this horse has a chance. He's 3-1. Again, probably will float up. I think every horse is going to float up because I think so many people are going to be on the number 6 Further Ado for sure, but I think that's going to make some of these other horses run up a little bit. I kind of have a little small interest in Spice Runner too at 12-1. I've liked that horse since it broke his maiden back in May of last year at Churchill Downs, and no, that was at the Derby. It was after the Derby, but broke his maiden and just continued to have some tough races, but. Last race, definitely British Cup Futurity Grade 1, lost to Ted Nafi. Blackout time, some horses we've talked about. Didn't get a really good start, but I think this horse has a chance at 12-1 to fill out some bets if you're looking for another horse to put into your exactas or even your trifecta. But my bet in this race is going to be a double. I go from this race to the next race where I'm talking about the next horse. I put a $20 double with the 2 in this race and the 5 in the next race. Let me count the ways. That is the Goldenrod Grade 2 for fillies for the getting some points for the Kentucky Oaks on the first Friday in May. It's a mile and 16th on the dirt. The 12 horse did scratch Explorer. We all know about that. That horse was supposed to fly over. Wasn't able to get there, so therefore that made this race, and John and I talked about this briefly a little bit yesterday, that makes this race wide open. I am loving the 5 Let Me Count the Ways, trained by Michael Maker, being ridden once again by Joel Rosario. This horse went from a sprint to a route. I know it was a 1-turn route, but nevertheless won impressively by 6 lengths in a big field of 8. Was in the outside in the 8 post in that race. Has been down at Churchill Downs working out for quite a while now, so that helps a little bit. And I just think this horse, put up an 81 Beyer speed figure last out. I think it's going to continue to improve. I don't think that horse has yet hit the top, so that's why I like this horse. Also, the number 1 Prime Power, I think could be the speed of the speed. So I think it's going to be tough to lead all the way, but I'm going to give this horse a shot, John, and that's why I played my ticket, the $20 double in last race, the 2, in this race, the 5.
Yeah, it's wide open. Both of them. If you beat Further Ado, both races are wide open. So that's why I spread on both, hoping to beat Further Ado. Further Ado wins, my ticket's meaningless. But this race here, I got angles for about 6 of them, and I do like the 5. The 5, he's one of them. New York bred, Maker shipping him here. Yalpan's become a hot sire this year. A lot of Yalpans are running good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
New York bred up against Open Company, but we saw what Rhetorical did this year, winning the Grade 1 at Keeneland race. We saw what Spirit of St. Louis going down to Gulfstream, last year to win the Pegasus Turf that day. So New York breds are definitely stepping up their game, and they can compete on the national scale. So would not surprise me if this one here, does good. I like the 3, 15-1. He's a half to Dancing Candy, and the further they go, the further this horse, should they'll like it. Visually, very impressive. Last race. If you just look at it, numbers are basically on par with this whole field. Nobody really had that that crazy buyer that makes you say, "Oh God, it's going to be a super horse." So evenly well matched. And these 2-year-olds overnight, week to week, they could just grow up
They can
and
explode. Yep.
and that's why you see these 20-to-1s can win these races, and you're like, wow. But then you look back, you're like, it kind of makes sense. You're one on the rail that you mentioned. I think he's got to get a little faster, but I'm definitely going to use him in there. Life of Joy faced smaller fields, 6 and 8 horse fields, but
Yeah.
bet like a good thing both times. So that Cox horse is going to be tough. And then go to the outside, the 9 horse. He did work. She did work. Workmate is Vahava, who just ran
Oh wow.
second in the Breeders' Cup. Leading up to the Breeders' Cup, this horse was working with Vahava. Vahava just ran second Breeders' Cup and held her own with that horse. So this horse definitely has some talent. Won by 10 last time, off the break from the slop at Saratoga.
Yeah.
And then the other one, Bella Ballerina. Oh, Brandon Walsh has always been talking. I heard, in the spring, him talking about this horse, how they really like this Bella Ballerina. And the first time out at Keeneland, they bet it like a good thing, $1.45. One, super impressive. If you watch that video, it was just, just ran by them like they were all tied to a pole. And the dam is a half, this horse is a half to Oaks winner. So that dam produced Kentucky Oaks winner. Now you got the baby sister to that one. Super impressive. So it's a Godolphin Brendan Walsh loves. So I'm going to give a big look to the 11. I'm going to throw the 9 in there as a big price and use the 5 and 6 and the 3 in there as well. Great race though. Great race to see these the young ones.
No, I agree 100% because I want to make a comment too on number 3, Just Singing. Ken Sweezy, super hot at Churchill Downs. Again, looking at Brisnet, they rate these horses. They're young, but they still get labeled as an early horse. There's lots of speed in this race. Lots of horses who like to get out there. This horse, Just Singing, is a closer, labeled as the only S in the race by Brisnet, and I like to use that as a way to help me decide if I like a horse or not. So I tend to agree. I think if the 5 doesn't get away completely, there's going to be some company with the 5 for sure. There's the 2, the 4 has some speed, the 7 has some speed. There's definitely going to be horses keeping this horse company. The 10 from the outside post has some speed. So the horse is going to keep company. It has a good post in the 5 spot to give him a chance. But I think that Just Singing is a good horse to use in a lot of bets, John. I agree with you there.
Yep.
All right. So, hey, listen, John, I wish you the best of luck in your tournament today, brother. We'll look forward to hearing from you how you're doing. I know you're going to put your head together and use the information we got here. We want our viewers to make sure, hey, listen, yesterday we talked about a lot of horses. Don't necessarily have to play the tickets. We put some tickets up there for you to look at, but we give you some knowledge to use to make your own bets. I think we did a good job. I know we did a good job yesterday. I know we're going to do a good job today. So, we just wanted to say, hey, thank you to any of our viewers who watch us here on Capital Sports Network YouTube. You can check out some of the old podcasts on Capital Sports Network YouTube. You can also read our articles we write on Florida Sports Talk, and we're going to continue to expand. Sean has already expanded some of our social platforms who we are putting our shows out there for. So you definitely want to be sure to check that out. And we'll be back again on Friday for our happy hour. Talk about there. Hopefully I'll be walking around by then, but pretty good. I'll let you know. I'm pretty sure I will be. I don't have any doubt that I will be. So, we'll talk about that, John.
Yep, sounds good. And like everything Fred said, we're giving you a lot of information here, stuff that I pick up on other podcasts that I pay attention to, guys I respect. I write down their notes. I pass them on to, you guys. The ultimate decision is, what you're handicapping. We're just helping you fill in the voids or giving you information, whether you agree with it or not. It's your decision to make. We lay out some tickets to give you an idea of how we're going to be playing the races. And I love to see other respectful handicappers that I like to follow, how they lay out tickets to see where they're going short, where they're spreading and going deeper, where they think there could be a price. And I put that all into, my, final handicapping and my final thoughts. But, you just can't have enough information. Just, do it with it what you want. And, the whole thing is the ticket structure. You got to get lucky on,
Yep.
how you play the race. We all can handicap. We spend a lot of time handicapping, and most of the time we'll spend a minute putting a ticket together, trying to rush to get it in. After you spend 90% handicapping, 10% ticket structure, and it all comes down to how you play the race, whether you're winning or losing your bottom line. So put a little bit more, idea into, how you're going to play the race rather than, just all handicapping, because it all comes down to that. So hopefully we provide you, information that you can, put towards your final decisions. And that's, what we're here to try to help you do.
John, I could not have said it any better, John. And also, if you follow what the articles we write on Florida Sports Talk, we'll have a recap of the shows we did yesterday and today. We'll follow up an article with that. And like I said, we'll continue to put our shows together for Friday at 12:30 happy hour. I'm sorry, Friday at 3 p.m. happy hour, and Saturday at 12:30. Our whip around show that we are beginning to get more and more tracks that we're looking at. Certainly as the fall and winter season come around, there's going to be some good prep races for the Kentucky Derby. We'll watch them as well, John. So listen, John, as always, a pleasure to talk to you. Best of luck today in your show. I know you got fitted for a tuxedo. Are you going to the Eclipse Awards or,
Well, that's the goal. When I win the NHC championship, if I make it there, I'll definitely have to go.
Have your tuxedo ready.
Rent the same tux to, accept that award. That's the bucket list item down the road as a handicapper.
Hold on, Sean's here. Hold on, we got Sean. Don't leave yet. Sean, what's up, buddy?
He was gone. There. Oh, there he is.
There he is. Hey, Sean.
Watching the Premier League games today. How about Man City pulling it out in the 91st minute?
Did they?
Yeah. I didn't think Leeds was going to score any goals there, but
I didn't either. When it was 2-0, I gave up on it. I gave up 2-0. I come back and it's in the 87th minute, 2-2. I'm dying. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I was watching a little bit. I was watching the Sunderland Bournemouth match. I have the 3 TVs set up, so I was watching a bunch of different games there. But all those games are pretty good at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow's a big day. There's a bunch of games tomorrow.
You got any picks for tomorrow? We can hear for our listeners that follow soccer.
Let's see who we got.
We always like to expand our horizon. We're spanning the globe, giving out
absolutely
country, and might as well span the world and give out European Premier League soccer.
Yeah, Real Madrid, I think, at 3 o'clock, they got to go to Girona. It's a tough game, but they watched Barcelona win today, so I think they have to win. My team, Manchester United, I just don't even know at this point. They play so early tomorrow. They got a lot of they're struggling a little bit. They got some injuries. My guy Joe Wiz gave out West Ham at home against Liverpool, which is plus, West Ham's plus 350. I like Chelsea tomorrow. I think, Chelsea's playing Arsenal, big game for both teams. If Arsenal wins, they're 9 points clear. They might finally win a title for the first time since 2004. But I like this Chelsea team a little bit, so I think Chelsea will be my play there.
All right, there you go. You have it. Spanning
the
world.
Just for a minute, thanks for coming on. Again, I mentioned earlier in the podcast that you are the brains and the activity behind everything we're doing here with our Let It Run podcast and plenty of other podcasts. While we have some viewers on and obviously who will watch this podcast later, any things that we should be covering or let them know as far as how our Capital Sports Network growth is going and some of the things we could mention, because I know you're doing a lot of yeoman's work behind the scenes that we don't get to see or hear about all the time, Sean.
Yeah, I think, today we're if people are watching on Sports Talk Florida, so we've joined the Sports Talk Florida.
Cool.
YouTube has joined here, so with that going forward, the Sports Talk Network is right now Sports Talk Florida, Sports Talk New York, Sports Talk Pennsylvania has launched Sports Talk Penn.
Cool.
New Jersey is about to come back on. It was down for some maintenance. California, DC, there's Ohio. These sites are all basically up and launched with content coming out for them. And then, obviously the goal in the next year is to go to I think the goal is to go where all the NFL cities are, or the NFL
Oh, wow.
states. So, Texas, obviously, and some of these other places. So, it'll be interesting and clear, we're ahead of the next year as horse racing kind of picks up again for the Kentucky Derby in 2026. I know we have some plans for that going forward, launching here.
Well, we're going to go back and doing some work on one of John's favorite tracks and one of my favorite tracks. Not so much John, just kidding. Gulfstream Park. Because we do have a lot of viewership, and we're getting our viewership to grow from, like you said, Florida Sports Talk and Florida Sports Talk YouTube, watching us on TV. And Florida's Gulfstream's championship meet begins to build now as it goes towards the two big races they have as prep races for the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I think the Florida site obviously is the anchor for the network as it builds. It's been around since 2018.
Okay.
So it's the other sites. Most of them are new in the last 6 months, but we have Sports Talk United as well, which is a soccer site, which is going to be massive ahead of the World Cup.
Cool.
That'll be starting to build up in the next, obviously 6 months before the World Cup. But there's a women's site as well, because women's sports is blowing up. Not just here but around the world. But I think with the horse racing, I mean, there's these hot spots in obviously Kentucky and New Jersey, PA, Southern California, obviously.
Sure.
Del Mar, Santa Anita, my guy Barry. I don't know if you remember Barry coming on from Manchester. He owns that the Circus Tavern, the smallest pub in Europe. Smallest bar in Europe. He's a big horse racing guy, so I know he watches sometimes. He comes over for the races. He comes over for the Breeders' Cup a lot. He didn't come this year because travel has been a little bit tough over there. But I know everybody's kind of excited for this the expansion of the stuff. And we started doing stuff again with my guy Dave Little, who runs the Meadowlands.
Okay.
And the harness racing, obviously, I know Yannick Gingras a little bit from with his family and everything.
Oh, wow.
So with the harness racing, it's a little bit more of a niche sport inside of but it's got huge pockets in Indiana, Canada, New Jersey, obviously, but they're trying to kind of make a little renaissance there. So,
well, as we move forward, John and I have often talked about, and we'll begin to work on putting some more podcasts together throughout the week as well, when there's big races to check in on, and put together some more content that we can put out there. Right, John? We talked about doing that.
Yeah, we got a lot of avenues to, I could talk to, different jockeys that, I'm friends with at parks in the backstretch, different trainers, get, owners, get different, feel and, how everybody looks at the sport. Everybody looks at it a little bit different than just us gamblers. But then as a horse owner, as a jockey, as a trainer, hear their perspective of, different things. So we look forward to bringing you that, on a, regular basis, smaller clips here and there that you could, always go back to and check out. So a lot of fun stuff, like as, Sean said, we're looking forward to expanding and doing. One other thing, Sean, I want to ask you is I got an email earlier this morning from Peter Thomas Fortinell, our guy, and he's in London right now, and he's in one of his favorite breweries. I don't know if you're familiar, the Colonel, alongside. He's in London, drinking a small Damson Saison in a glass, and he's picking winners. Do you know the Colonel in London?
I know of it. I've never been there, but I have actually one of my buddy Patrick is over there. He's in the middle of a tour. He's going to the Tottenham match later. They play at 3:00. There's a late game, and then he's also going to the West Ham and Liverpool game tomorrow. So on the way up to Manchester for Thursday's game with West Ham. But he's doing a big tour, kind of like how I do. But yeah, it's London is. I can't wait to get back over there. I mean, it's a great place to watch games. I mean, the last time I was over there,
oh my God, yeah.
I stayed. I stopped at a place right outside of Euston Station, and basically just sat down and I reserved a table. Thank God I did. I didn't realize I had to, but I thought enough to do it because I thought it would be busy. I'm glad I did. And I just sat there basically for the rest of the day watching all the games.
That's awesome.
Nothing like it.
Yeah, it's a great it's a great town to kind of walk around. In London, if you've never been, I mean, it's just
I have
so many pockets of neighborhoods. I mean, the tube takes you to this, and basically each little part of town is its own different kind of town. And it's, you go here and you go here, Elephant and Castle with Ministry of Sound, and some of these other places in the West and the East. And it's really just like little mini cities. So, it's all different places. So it's really cool.
Betting shops on every corner, a betting shop, and pubs every.
You can't walk 5 feet. That's the first thing I saw when I went to Manchester the first time. This is back in 2011, 2012. So, I mean, this is before betting was legal in New Jersey. I mean, it was really just in Nevada, and, you can't walk 5 feet without a betting shop over there. So,
yep.
I mean, it's pretty.
Hey, this show just went international today, man. That's
yeah. Oh, horse racing is really big over there. I mean, they have they have the different meets all around at the Epsom and some of these, all in, outside of Liverpool. There's a meet, and there's the different tracks, and there's 4 or 5 huge meets. It's like mini Saratogas at different places across the country at different times of year. So, horse racing is really, really big. I mean, that's the thing. If you go to these betting shops, there's just, people that sit in there and they just have the horse racing on. And then, by the time the English racing stops, at 5 or 6 o'clock, all of a sudden, guess what time it is here? It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So now all of a sudden, the American horses start.
John would never sleep over there in London. He would never sleep.
No, I wake up early at 6 o'clock to watch, or if I'm up late, midnight, Australia starts for us at midnight.
It sounds like there could be a let him run road trip in the future.
Yeah. Let him run international.
I'm up for that. I'm in.
All right. Well, listen, hey, Sean, appreciate you coming on, brother. You guys both have a great day. Sean, thanks again for all your help and your work here, and we'll talk later. John, good luck in your contest, and stay tuned and let him run, boys.
All right. See you guys. Let him run.
Okay.